Success ain't earned, it's bought. That's why at Paddy Power, we paid the big bucks for the best tech nerds in the world to develop our new, fastest ever app. Download the new app from the App Store or Play Store now. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast, and what a weekend it is. We've got some brilliant action at Ascot, Haydock, Wincanton, a superb race at Gowran in Ireland. We'll also be looking at the Sunday card at Navan that features some decent animals. Cannot wait. I'm Bruce Millington, and joining me today are two Racing Post tipsters who've got a real clash of styles. First up, you've got Graham Rodway, very thoughtful, very painstaking delivery, but full of great wisdom for you. And then from Ireland, we've got David Jennings with his machine gun delivery, 1,000 words a minute. Hopefully the pair of them have both got some great winners. And hopefully as well, Tom Nugent from Paddy Power will be joining us with all the latest betting and also some winners of his own. Really looking forward to it. Let's get stuck into the big race of the day. It takes place at Ascot at 3:35. It's the Betfair Ascot Chase. What a race, Tom. Read out the prices and then the listeners will know just what a contest we've got.
Yeah, it's an absolute belter, Bruce. Top Notch is our 2-1 favourite at the moment. Waiting Patiently is next in at 9-4. Coney Island is a 3-1 shot. And Q Card is 8-1 and it's 10's bar.
Okay, David Jennings, I want you to get everyone excited and give us the winner.
What a race, first of all. It's a cracker. I've been giving this plenty of thought all week, and I was down with Eddie Harty for an interview that's in Saturday's Racing Post, and that really got my juices flowing for the race because it really is a cracker. And we saw 7 declared on Monday or Tuesday, and we were hoping they'd all stand their ground, and they did. I fancy Coney Island, and not just because I'm Irish, because I think he's got the potential to be this year's Gold Cup winner. A couple of different reasons. First of all, Top Notch. I love Top Notch, and I think he's a cracking horse. I really do. But this is his 22nd start. And I just wonder, can Top Notch get any better than 164? In my head, I'm kind of thinking, this is 22nd start. We've seen him do his thing, and maybe he will continue to do it for years to come. But I just wonder, has he reached the peak of his powers now? Whereas I'm absolutely convinced we have not seen the best of Coney Island yet. This is only Coney Island's 11th start. He's very lightly raced, and he's, like talking to Eddie Hart, he's only filling out into his frame now. He's convinced that we've yet to see the best of him. And I agree. There's a couple of problems here. The last Irish winner of this race was way back in 1996. Sound Man won it. But I think Coney Island, if you go back to his form from last season when he won the Drinmore, like he had Annabelle Fly back in second, who's now rated 159. And back in fourth that day, beaten over 8 lengths, was Road to Respect, who's obviously rated 167 now and is well fancied for the Gold Cup. That's pretty strong form. That's as good a novice form as you can get from last season. And it put them ahead of Top Notch from last season. And I think, listening to Eddie and putting all the clues together, I think Coney Island is a completely different horse now than he was last season. And I think he'll win, Bruce.
And do you think that this, if he does win, that they'll take enough encouragement from it to go for gold, or will they take the Ryanair route, do you think?
Well, I went to Eddie Harty's the other day with Frank Hickey in the back of my head, thinking, make sure you find out exactly where he's going. Try and convince him to go to the Gold Cup. And I was hoping for Frank's sake, because I know Frank's going to buy the whole island of Ireland if Coney Island does win the Gold Cup, because I think he's got him to win probably 7.3 million or something. But I was really trying to get out of Eddie. And the impression I got was, and the quote that stood out most to me was, he's not the finished article yet. And I said to him straight out, I said, when do you think he'll be the finished article? And he said, this time next year. He will definitely be the finished article. So that makes me think that maybe they'll go for the Ryanair this year and the Gold Cup next year. But the big thing is that JP doesn't really have anything for the Gold Cup apart from Manila Rocco, possibly Ed Wolf. But they don't scream Gold Cup winners. They're not 8-1 shots for the Gold Cup like Coney Island.
So but you basically did a really rubbish job, didn't you? You were sent there to get Eddie Harty to get the thing to go to the Gold Cup. And you failed, DJ. I'm on Coney Island as well. Can't believe it. But that interview, DJ, is in Saturday's Racing Post, isn't it? And it's a belter, apparently.
Yeah, really, it's really interesting. Not because I wrote it, but his quote, he's a really intelligent guy. Like, he's actually far more intelligent than I even thought he was. And he taught me actually a lot in about an hour and a half.
Okay, jolly good. Well, an hour and a half is roughly how long DJ's been telling us why Coney Island's going to win. Graham Rodway, what's your view of this race?
Well, if Coney Island is not the finished article and is still going to be able to win this race, then he's going to be some animal in a year's time, because this is the race of the season.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's an absolutely fantastic race. You've got Top Notch, who is the finished article, there's no doubt about it, and he is rock solid. He's really tough horse to pass, and he's bound to run well. He's got the course form. And we've got probably the most exciting horse in Britain this year, certainly for me, Waiting Patiently. Running for Ruth Jefferson first time, being brought along very slowly by Malcolm Jefferson, and has been so impressive. Every single time this horse turns up in a chase, nothing can even give him a race. He absolutely thrashed Politologue last year in the same way that Altior did at Newbury, and he's just improving with every start. I mean, I think that it's going to take a very special performance to beat Waiting Patiently. He'd be my idea to win. My only problem is that he was around about 100 to 30 earlier in the week, and he's down to a 9 to 4. 2-1, which
5-2 with Paddy Power.
Yeah, that's probably on the short side, I'd say. There's noises coming out of Colin Tizard's that he's got Q Card right back to his best. Now, I mean, he is going to have to be right back at his best to compete with these younger legs. And I was really impressed with Frodon last time as well at Cheltenham. That was a fantastic performance in similar conditions, and he jumped so well, that horse. It's just chock full of quality, the race.
I mean, even Speradek ran a blinder last time as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it was his second to Undersow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an absolute
And really
cracker.
stayed on after Undersow.
Looks like he'll
past
definitely improve for the step up in trip,
What
doesn't
a
he?
race it's going to be, G-Rod, isn't it?
Fantastic race. I hope Waiting Patiently does the business, wins nicely, and they go on to Cheltenham with it. Because I really think this horse is potentially something special, but it wouldn't surprise me if something else won it. Anything could win it, really.
Tom, are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I really, really can't wait. Very, very sweet on Coney Island. I'd know Patrick Harty a little bit and met him on the steps of the weigh room in Leopardstown a couple of weekends ago for that Dublin Racing Festival. And when he talked about Coney Island, he's normally a fairly measured character, a bit like his dad, but his eyes lit up and they're just absolutely buzzing for this horse. They cannot wait. I think DJ made very, very good point about Coney Island's novice form. It's rock solid. I think the best is yet to come from him, definitely. And to Graham's point as well, this race has absolutely outstanding depth to it. We've glossed over Frodon. We haven't even really given Q Card a mention. It's a cracking race, but I think Coney Island is going to win.
Yeah, and G-Rod, I have to, endorse what you say. It's the race of the season, isn't it?
But without doubt, it's, in generally speaking, this season in Britain, it's not been the most fantastic jump season, hasn't it? But this race has the potential to really set it alight.
Absolutely, I agree completely. So we've got 2 votes from the lads over in Ireland for Coney Island, and G-Rod is going for Waiting Patiently. Excellent stuff, thank you, boys. The 150 at Ascot is the Sodexo Reynoldstown Novices Chase. And Tom, how did Paddy Power bet on this one?
Yeah, Black Corton is our 10 to 11 favourite now. Miss Parfois is next in at 5 to 2. Mount Muse 3 to 1, and Crystal Lad is the 33 to 1 outsider. G-Rod,
will it be yet another Saturday when the girls are winning the big races? Lizzie Kelly's got a big race ride up at Haydock, hasn't she? And good old Bryony Frost has been an absolute one of these stories of the season. She's reunited with Black Corton here. Are you going to stay with the Fav?
Yeah, I find it hard to see Black Corton being beat here. I mean, he just keeps improving with every start. He's not flashy, but he jumps well. He's really tough. He stays forever. He seems to act on any ground, which was the massive worry earlier in the season. But his last 2 wins have come with plenty of cuts, so I don't see that being a problem. And I just think he's absolutely rock solid. And there's not that much strength in depth against him. For the Reynoldstown is often a decent race, but I thought this year it wasn't the strongest, and I'll be disappointed if Black Corton doesn't do the business.
David Jennings, who's your fancy?
Yeah, Graham is right. Black Corton should really win, rated 155, but I'm going to take him on. I have this nagging doubt that I just think he's had too much racing. He had 11 runs in 2017. I think he had maybe 7 since August. And that's a lot for a novice. Obviously, he's getting better, and he's only 7, so he might have taken his race really well. But I can actually think I can visualise this race. I just think Mount Muse has the potential to travel all over these. Now, he's not a thorough stayer, and certainly stamina is a little bit of a worry, and he was outstayed last time at Doncaster by what's his name. But just the manner in which he came up to what's his name there was real eye-catching, and he was a top novice. He was second in the Grade 1 at Aintree last season. I think turning for home, you'll see Black Corton and Miss Parfois basically being under the pump, and Mount Muse, I think Brian Hughes would be absolutely tanking. Whether he has the stamina to go by, I'm not sure. But I just think this could be one occasion where his class might get him through. I think he's a horse that's suited by small fields. And I think ability-wise, he's got the most ability in the race, even though he's rated £15 lower than Black Curtain at the moment. But I just think ability-wise, he's got loads of ability, and he's still a work in progress. And I just wonder, the fact that he's lighter raced, the fact that he hasn't had to get down and dirty like Black Curtain has, I wonder will that be to his advantage. And I think at the prices, I think there's only two horses that can win it, and that's Mount Muse or Black Curtain.
That was a very sort of... You're going to go with Mount Muse, eh? That was a very kind of accurate visualisation there, DJ. I could imagine you with like your hands on a crystal ball there, the way you could envisage Mount Muse travelling all over them and coming past Black Curtain. What's your visualisation of this race, Tom, look like?
Yeah, I really like Miss Parfois here. She's rated 146 now, and she's got loads of scope to improve. She's a big, massive chestnut mare by Mahler. She's been an absolute revelation over fences. I thought she was great up at Warwick the last day. She jumps for fun and she stays really, really well. I'd agree that she'll be handy, and it could be herself and Black Curtain taking each other on as they swing for home in Ascot. But I think Miss Parfois will stay on stronger towards the line.
Wow, well, that's confusing. There's three big guns in this race and the lads have gone for each of them. So you pay your money, you take your chances. Let's look at the 225, see if there's more unity on this one. It's the Keltbray Swinley Chase. It's a limited handicap, and we've got Nick Henderson's Gold Present heading the market. What's the latest betting, Tom?
Gold Present is 9-4. Another Venture is 7-2. Tenor Nivernais is a 5-1 shot. View Leon Rouge is 6-1 alongside Hollybush Henry, and it's 10-1 bar. And
it's your go to go first, Tom.
No massive opinion on the race at the moment. I had a quick look at Tenor Nivernais with the ground and Venetia Williams, but I don't really have a strong opinion on it just right at this minute.
I mean, Tenor Nivernais, DJ, last year, it was one of the most amazing performances of the season, wasn't he? He just went clear and won by a distance. It was absolutely extraordinary, but he's running so badly now. I mean, can you really put your faith in him at 5-1?
Yeah, he's one of these horses that just pops up and does things like that every now and again, and it's so frustrating as a punter because you just don't know what he's going to do. And you know, he was deplorable, really, at Doncaster last time. He jumped terribly, he didn't travel with any zest, and he just looked finished. He just looked like he said to himself, you know what, I've enough of this bloody game. I've been at it for long enough. So I've a line through Tenor Nivernais, and I absolutely hate myself for this. I really do. But I'm starting to fancy the outsider of the whole field and think he's the one horse in the race that's overpriced, and that's Regal Encore. Like, when I started studying this race, little did I know I'd be tipping Regal Encore, but there's a couple of reasons. Like, first of all, Anthony Honeyball's horses they're in proper form at the minute. I think two of his last six have won. They're running well. Regal Encore, like that third in the Ladbroke Trophy behind Total Recall and Whisper, that's probably the best piece of form in the race. He was 66-1 that day, but he didn't run like a 66-1 shot. And he was one of them ones where you're watching Total Recall was fancied, Whisper was fancied, and they were travelling really well. And you're kind of going, God, what the hell is this JP thing? I didn't even know he had one in the race. And he travelled really well that day. And while he bombed out at Ascot last time, I do think he likes the place. He won the Silver Cup, I think, the season before last, off mark of 144. Tenor Nivernais was behind him. It was the day of the fog, if you remember. He's only £6 higher now. Barry Geraghty pulled him up very early behind Gold Present in this season's Silver Cup. He just made a mistake early on. And off 150, in a race like this, which doesn't have that much strength and depth, it's not as big a field as you'd be expecting, I think he's probably the value at 14-1.
Okay, G-Rod, what's your view of this race? Because Gold Present's fav, and Gold Present is many people's idea of the value in the Grand National. Can he endorse his entry claims here, do you think?
It's that sort of race, isn't it, where you get Grand National types turning up just after the weights come out. And he's a very good jumper. So one thing that struck me last season with Gold Present is he's very, very sound over his fences, which is a big thing at Ascot. It's a tough test to jump him around there. And he's improving, and he seems to go on the ground. There's a lot to like about him, but not the price. You know, he's plenty short enough at around 9-4 in a competitive race. And a horse that I've had on my tracker for a long time is Minella Daddy, who I think actually ran in the race that DJ's talking about in the fog.
He was second.
And he was second behind Regal Encore, yeah. And but previous to that, he'd been a massive improver, and he'd won at Ascot, I think, in the November meeting or one of their previous meetings. And he just caught my. He returned there last month at the meeting that Undersow won, and he trailed really nicely through that race. And I was kicking myself because I hadn't backed him, and being a long-term tracker horse, I was thinking, oh no, please don't let this horse go and win. And he didn't, luckily. He faded quite badly, finished 4th, but he would almost certainly have been in need of the outing, I think. And he should come on a good bit for that. Now, at the start of the season, Peter Bowen was there was a stable tour on Peter Bowen's yard, and he said, Minella, Daddy, we're hoping we're going to get him in the Grand National. That's our big aim. We really think he could be a Grand National horse. Now, he's down in 90th on the list in the Grand National. He's not going to get in the race. So they can forget about the Grand National this year. They've got to kick on with him. This is good opportunities. As I say, he likes this course. I think he's got plenty in his favour, and he's a decent price. He's around 16th.
Okay, so the boys have gone for the outsiders in this field. DJ gone for Regal Encore, and Graham Rodway has gone for Minella Daddy. The other race at Ascot that's on the box is the 3 o'clock. It's the Ascot Spring Garden Show. It's a handicap hurdle. Competitive old affair, isn't it, Tom Nugent?
Indeed, Dieg Man is our 11-4 favourite at the moment. Kill the Start is 7-2. Le Patriot 4-1. Friday Night Light 5s. Fix La Cap 8-1. 10-1 Stowaway Magic and 16-1 Bar.
Who wins, David Jennings?
I don't really know, Bruce. I'm tempted to side with Fix La Cap, given that he's had a wind up. Like if you go back to Fix La Cap's previous form, he was second in the Imperial Cup off a mark. Like he's 143 now. He was second in the Imperial Cup off a mark of 138, and it was a proper Imperial Cup because London Prize won it, and went down by a length that day. They were nicely clear of Derbyn in third. That was a really good run. Like Mason was obviously supposed to be his game. He was disappointing. He was beaten at 1-5 at Plumpton in December, and no real excuses that day. But the key thing with Fix the Cap is he's had a wind up since he last ran, and he looked the type that could benefit from it because he's often a strong traveller in his races. Like, go back through his form at Haydock last season. He was second to Frodon. He has really good quality form. He was up to the mark of 145 at one stage. I think off 143 after the wind up, he's certainly got the potential to be involved. It's obviously a little bit disappointing that Nico de Bonville is not riding it. He's riding Stowaway Magic. The Egg Man, I have no idea what to expect. He's won 2 Mickey Mouse races since he's arrived with Neil Mulholland. He could be absolutely chucked in. It's interesting, he didn't go up at all for winning the novice hurdle at Catterick last time under Slippers Madden. Won easily there. Could be anything. Don't know how good he is. Going to chance to Fix the Cap.
Fix the Cap for DJ. Who for G-Rod?
It's not a race I have a strong opinion on. A bit like DJ, I thought it was very difficult. However, it wouldn't surprise me if the Egg Man went off a ridiculously short price. It's the sort of JP horse that you could see getting absolutely smashed off the boards and going off around 2-1. It would not surprise me at all. And then he'd probably win if that happened as well. I'm not going to be playing in it. It's the one race on the Ascot card that I really didn't like.
Okay.
I could see the Egg Man going off short price favourite.
Do you like anything, Tom?
Wouldn't be getting stuck into it now, but I think Dr. Richard Newland is one of the sharpest men in the UK to place a handicapper, and Le Patriot is on his 3rd run for him now in first-time pieces. He was well bet in Cheltenham the last day and was beaten by 10 lengths or something in the Lanzarote. I'd take a chance on him in a trappy race like this. I think he could improve for the pieces.
Good stuff, chaps. Let's do Haydock next.
Follow Paddy Power on Snapchat. The username is ThePaddyPower, and we promise there won't be any boring snaps about gigs, the weather or the gym.
OK, we've got 2 races on ITV4 at Haydock Park. The first of them is the 205, the Betfred Rendlesham Hurdle. And down at Ascot, we've got Bryony Frost with an odds-on favourite on Black Corton. Up at Haydock, we've got Lizzie Kelly in an odds-on favourite in Agrapart. Just how short is Agrapart now, Tom?
Indeed, Agrapart is rock solid at 4-6. Zarkandar is next in at 7-2. Watt is 9-2. Donna's Diamond is 12s, and it's 33-1. The outsider, No Hassle Hop.
Graham Rodway, what is the betting strategy here?
I don't want to be taking on the favourite. I mean, I think if Agrapart comes in and runs the same level that he did when he beat Holstone at Cheltenham, I think it'd be more than good enough. He likes this sort of ground. He handles the track, and he just looks a rock-solid favourite.
Do you back him at 4-6 though? Is that your game?
Not for me. I'd be a watching race. Okay. I wouldn't want to be against him. Wouldn't want to be with him at the price.
Okay, Tom Nugent, what's your view here?
Yeah, just a grade 2 on bag ground is Agrapart's bag. I was hoping Klein might stay in it, but sadly he came out, so I wouldn't really be taking on the favourite with anything else, to be honest.
2 votes for the Jolly. Is it 3, DJ?
I want to ask Graham a question first. Why do you think Agrapart handles the track?
I knew he was going to say that because he's only run there once, and he didn't run particularly well.
How did he do, Graham?
He didn't run particularly well.
Well, did he run off at the bends? Did he get lost? Did he go the wrong way? What's it got to do with the track? He might just have had a bad run.
I think he'll be okay at the track. It's just a hunch.
Okay, well, I thought that the one negative for Agropart was the track, because he's only ran there once, and that was in this very race last year, where he was a favourite again after winning the race at Cheltenham. He came here 11-8 favourite. He's really disappointing. He was beaten 4 lengths by Zarkander, who obviously re-opposes here today, and that's the nagging doubt I have. If you're going to be backing a horse at 8-11, you want nearly every box to be ticked, and I just wonder, is Agropart a better horse at Cheltenham than he is at Haydock? He seems to really like the undulations of Cheltenham, and I can't get that performance last season out of my head. Jumped early, never really looked happy. And I thought Zarkander beat it fair and square last season. Now, the rating suggests that Zarkander has it all to do to beat Agropart. But Zarkander is one of these horses that just pops up when you least expect it. He's got a tongue strap. He's got blinkers on. He's an enigma at this stage. But at the prices, he's probably worth cancelling.
You're going to go Zarkander. Good old Zarkander. What a career he's had. The 3:15's the other televised race. It's the Betfred Grand National Trial. They'll be slogging through this mud for 3 miles, 4.5 furlongs, and the horse that dominates the Aintree market, Blackline, also dominates this market, Tom Nugent.
Blackline is our 9-4 favourite at the moment. The Dutchman is next in at 9-2. Wild West Wind is 5-1. Three Faces West 11-2. Mystery 8-1, and it's 12-1 bar.
Tom, you're going first, but I've just got to say this. I think Blackline is a really poor value Grand National favourite. I just think he completely ran out of gas last time. I think he'll give you a great run and he might trade shorter in running, but I just don't know how he's going to find the stamina that was missing last year. What's your view, Tom?
Yeah, I look, he obviously stays relatively well, but there are those concerns, as you pointed out. I'm not sure if I'd be getting stuck into him as the market favourite at the moment. They're surely value at this point out the field. In terms of the race on Saturday, what do I fancy? I'd take a chance on Three Faces West. Obviously, coming into this on the back of a fall in Haydock the last day isn't ideal, but he's back down to 144, and I think he can be very competitive. He's competitive off of 147. He won off 147 rather in Newbury in December 2016, was off for a long time, and I think he's a good chance here. Wild West Wind, or Three Faces West for me, sorry. Three
Faces West, yeah, watch your bets because we've got Wild West Wind as well. Okay, DJ, what's your view of the winner here?
Yeah, I just first of all on Blackline, I completely agree with you. Blackline reminds me of a horse that I kept backing in the Grand National because he always travelled well but never won, and it was Big Fella Tank. I think Blackline is similar. I just don't think he's going to stay the Grand National trip, and I think you're always going to look like a winner until the second last, and it's just going to be utterly frustrating, I think. And it was the same with that Paul Nicholls horse. What do you call the Paul Nicholls horse that ran in the Grand National the last couple of years? Always travelled really well. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. It'll come back to me. Anyway, but I think on the Grand National front, I think that's the case with Blackline. On this race,
I can't tell. Hang on a sec, DJ. I can't tell whether Graham Rodway's trying to think of that horse, whether he's completely zoned out.
No, I'm trying to think of it. Yeah.
You're in a zen-like state. Okay, come on, DJ. Who wins this? The 3:15 at Haydock.
Yeah, I would have been fancying Three Faces West like Tom because I think he's down to an attractive mark of 144. But my worry is still the Philip Hobbs stable. Like, he's had no winner in the last fortnight. He's had 15 runners, and plenty of them have been fancied. Like, he's had 3 of them were favourites. A couple of them were 5-2, 3-1, 4-1, and his horses are just not backfiring. I think Three Faces West is the most likely winner. That worries me, and the fact that there's so many front runners worries me as well. I think this is a watching race, Bruce.
Graham Rodway, who's going to win?
Yeah, Three Faces West, a long-term tracker horse, but like DJ, I was going to make exactly the same point. Philip Hobbs has been really struggling for form, so that put me off him a little bit. And I'm going to back the Dutchman instead for a stable that is definitely not struggling for form. Colin Tizard's really come back in red hot nick in the last week or two. I mean, his stable is absolutely flying. And the Dutchman managed to win when they weren't going that well over the course last time. And he absolutely fresh captain Redbeard, who is quite a tool around Haydock. And he had Yalarenki, who went off favourite well behind. I actually thought Yalarenki was the main danger, but the Dutchman looks to me to be improving, and we know he loves heavy ground at Haydock, and we know what a big advantage that can be.
Okay, while we're on the subject of the Grand National, I want the Grand National winner from each of you. I don't want any reasoning, just the name of a horse. Graham Rodway.
The Last Samurai.
David Jennings.
Oh, probably Total Recall.
And Tom Nugent.
Tiger Roll.
Excellent. Thank you very much, chaps. Right, let's move on to Wincanton, the 245. It's the Betway Kingwell Hurdle over the 2 mile trip. What's the latest betting, Tom Nugent?
Sadly, our Kingwell hurdle market has just come down, but off the top of my head, Call Me Lord and Chittabella were toughing it out at the top of the market. I think they were 6-4 each of 2, and Elgin was 4-1, maybe around 9 or 10-1 bar.
Righty-ho, Graham Rodway, who's going to win the race?
Fascinating little race, because Call Me Lord the Improver against really the proven type in Chittabello, and I thought Chittabello was by far the more likely winner of the 2. There's always been this myth about Chittabello that he doesn't really like testing ground. I think because Dan Skelton early in his career said he wants it quick, but most of his best form recently has come with plenty of cut in the ground. And I think Call Me Lord's going to have to improve an awful lot to get anywhere near him. The interesting runner is Cliffs of Dover for Paul Nicholls, who was a massive improver as a juvenile, just kept rattling up a sequence, and I always get the feeling with these Paul Nicholls runners, especially at Wincanton, he's got a fantastic record round there, that could be the biggest danger. That might come back to form, but Chittabello for me.
Who for you, DJ?
Rocky Creek is the name of that horse, by the way.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm going the opposite way of Graham, which we usually do. If there's 2 to choose from in a race, Graham will go for one, I'll go for the other, and usually he's right. But Call Me Lord, like, he's rated 152, so he's got £4 a fine with Chittabello, but he is improving rapidly, and that performance last time at Sandown, like, it was really impressive. You know, he carried 11-12 in really heavy ground, and he just seemed to absolutely adore the conditions. That was the second time he ran on heavy ground, and he was equally impressive when he ran on his final start in France in Compiègne. I think he has the potential to be potentially 160 rated horse, and that puts him ahead of Chittabello. So yeah, Call Me Lord.
Tom Nugent?
Chittabello for me. I think the worry about the ground for him is a myth. I've a mare in foal to Sageberg, his sire, and Sageberg's 3-year-old hurdle stats in France on ground would suggest that all his stock don't mind bad ground at all. He's £10 well in technically with Elgin, and I think he's just better than Call Me Lord.
I love the way Tom Nugent just drops in that he's got a mare in foal to so-and-so, because he's one of the leading owner breeders in Ireland this year. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Who's that bumper horse, Tom, you've got that's different class?
Myself and my stepfather bred a horse called Black Bull,
Yes.
who is now joint favourite for the champion bumper.
How exciting. Should we be lumping on, do you think?
I don't know. I'm a nervous wreck already, so I can't. It doesn't bear thinking about what I'll be like on the day.
How exciting. Well, good luck with that one. It looks a really exciting prospect. OK, it's round-up time. We don't want your naps, lads. We want all the other tips you fancy. We've got all the rest of Ascot, the rest of Haydock, the rest of Wincanton. We've got the rest of Garum Park. Oh, no, we haven't done Garum Park. We'll do Garum Park first, actually, because there is a race there that we expected to be we were hoping, fingers crossed, was going to be absolutely phenomenal. The 2 o'clock, the Red Mills Chase. Sadly, Duvan isn't in it, but what a lineup we've got. Our Duke, Val Solido, Atois Phil, Ballycasey, and the very exciting presenting Percy. Have we got a show yet, Tom?
Sadly not, unfortunately, just yet.
It's some race, though, DJ. Who's going to pass the post in front?
I know there's no Duvan, but Jesus, that's been harsh on the race, because it's a cracker. If Duvan was in it, sure, to be a Cheltenham race. I think our Duke has to win. Like, I think presenting Percy will win the RSA, and he's one of the most solid favourites of the entire festival. But it's a strange race for him to be running in. You just wonder why didn't he just run in the 10 up at Navan the following day. But Pat Kelly, there always seems to be some sort of method to his madness, and running against a horse that's the leading fancy for the Gold Cup is really interesting. He's obviously getting £7, but our Duke is rated 166. He's got more experience. He loved the ground, and I still think he would have been bang there if he didn't make the mistake in the second last in the Irish Gold Cup. I think our Duke has to win this if he's to have any aspirations of winning the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Tom, who's your idea of the victor?
I don't know if our Duke showed me enough to be as encouraged as DJ is there. I think presenting Percy is the most likely winner here, and I think he's a very, very a good chance at the festival as well. Maybe the forgotten horse is Valserlido. He is a Grade 1 winner in Open Company. He probably hasn't shown us much this year, but he wasn't too far away from finishing in the frame in an Irish Gold Cup when he came down at the last a couple of years ago. He's still a decent horse, and if he was to put it together, he wouldn't be too far away. It just really is a really, really good race, but Presenter Percy's the winner for me.
G-Rod, it's a fantastic Saturday of racing. This is kind of like the icing on the cake, isn't it, to get this? I know Duvan's not running, but hell, what a great race it is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, again, it's the race of the day in Ireland, isn't it, by a long way, and yeah, disappointing that Duvan didn't turn up, but yeah, can't complain about the lineup. Valserlido absolutely loves testing ground, so he's going to be right up his street. But the most exciting horse in Ireland, Presenting Percy, would you say? Certainly one of them. I mean, he looks like he could be anything. He could be absolutely top class. It don't matter whether it's over fences, dropped him back over hurdles last time, absolutely hacked up. I think he'll win at the festival, and it'll be disappointed if he didn't win on the way. I'd expect him to win this. Yeah,
I mean, it's our Duke, obviously, what he did last year, you'd say he's got the form in the book, but not this season, has he? So a really fascinating one. OK, we will get the roundups now. Who do we want to tell the listeners about that isn't your nap? Graham Rodway.
See, this is where I make up my time on DJ, all that time that he spends waffling on. I've got loads to waffle on about here.
Have you?
Yeah.
We don't want any waffle, we just want wise words.
I'll try and get through them as quick as I can. In the bumper at Ascot, Rosie Weld for Susie Smith. She's massively underrated in bumpers. Her horses always go off huge prices, and she's got really good strike rates, something like 17%. She's had 5 runners in Ascot bumpers the last 5 seasons, 2 seconds, no winners, but she's due a change of luck.
And that's the 445.
The 445, I'll be with that at a big price. In the 130 at Haydock, Mr. Chow for Gary Moore. I had a big word for this before it won at Warwick last time, that they thought it was very smart, travelled through that race nicely and put it to bed well. He handles heavy ground. Same can be said for Creve Hill in the 240 at Haydock. Ran a cracker at the course 2 starts ago. I don't think the ground was soft enough for him last time at Ascot. And I'll miss my nap out because we'll come to that after. 330 at Lingfield, Make Music. It ran well last time over a trip that definitely didn't suit. We're back over a more suitable distance this time. And I think a similar comment can be applied to Vina, who I think was beaten over a mile last time. This one runs in the 7:15 at Kempton. All in best form is over 7 furlongs. 2 wins before that were over 7. Back to the trip, and I like Vina in the 7:15 at Kempton. That's it.
I cannot believe, DJ, can you believe how well Graham Rodway knitted all that together? I mean, normally we have about a 30-second gap, don't we, where he painstakingly scrawls through the app to try and find the time of the next one. But that was beautiful. Well done,
G. Usually it's, I fancy a horse with 2, 3, 4 legs, and... that was very impressive, Graham. The only thing is, I got a phone call from Sam Crowe there to say he's the most exciting horse in Ireland at the moment.
Sam Crowe? All right, fair enough. All right, then, go on then, DJ. What's your roundup consist of? How many horses are there?
There's only 3, actually.
Oh, great. OK, away you go.
Yeah, I'm going to make up for Graham's rambling and do this really quick. So 3:10 at Gorham Park. Lagos to Vegas, I think, will beat Mick Jazz. She's rated 146. David Mullins ride. And she could be an each-way squeak at a big price for the Mayor's Hurdle at Cheltenham. I think she could be Willie's number 1 in that. Obviously, Applegate is going to be very hard to beat, but she could be very interesting in that. And then later on the Gorham Park card, Les Arco for Henry de Bromhead and Davy Russell. I think will take a bit of beating in the 4-year-old maiden hurdle. And at
is there a time? Does that race have a time, or does it go off whenever they like?
That race doesn't actually have a time, Bruce. No.
What an amateur, G-Rod?
3:45.
Okay.
3:45. And at Wincanton, I spoke earlier about Philip Hobbs' horse being, obviously a little bit under the weather, not firing on all cylinders. But Lord Holy God, if Warsound can't win a handicap case off 130 at a track like Wincanton, I'll give up, because jumping has been his main issue. But he jumped around Cheltenham last time, and I think returning to Wincanton is going to be a help. He was rated 148 at the end of his hurdling career. He's officially rated 144 over hurdles. He's down to 130 over fence. What he needs is a sharp 2 miles, which he gets here, an easy jumping test, which he gets here, and hopefully Warsound can get Philip Hobbs back in the winner's enclosure.
And that's in the 2:15. I'll do the donkey work.
2:15 at Wincanton, Bruce.
Did you swear halfway through that?
Is blood? I don't know. Is bloody actually a curse?
No. That's all right. I thought it was something worse than that. Jolly good. Tom,
I think I said.
What have you got, Tom?
Just 2 watching briefs for me at Goran, and a couple for Sunday, but we'll come on to Sunday in Navan. The The one in the beginner's chase at 125 in Gorn, Maldini is jocked up there. He'll probably have a festival target. He'd be very interesting. And just a shout out for Abyssial, who makes his return to racing after 1,073 days off the track. Of course, he's a grade 1 juvenile hurdler by Beneficial, which is very unusual. But he makes his comeback in that Red Mills hurdle at
3:10.
3:10, yes. And you're a stickler for time, Bruce.
Well,
sorry.
I do find that the punters do like to know what time the particular race is going off. Oh, by the way, Tom, you're a bit of a judge in Dundalk. Have you got anything for us at Dundalk tonight?
I haven't got around to Dundalk yet. I was too busy prepping for this. But
well, in
I'll
that
have some
case,
for you next week.
Okay, matey, let's get the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Graham Rodway.
It's running the 220 at Lingfield. It's called Brother Tiger. Absolutely loves it around Lingfield. It's got a cracking record around there. And last time out ran over 6 furlongs. That would have stretched his stamina back over 5 at the track. Should be hard to beat. 220 Brother Tiger.
Thank you very much, Graham Rodway. David Jennings, what's your nap?
Coney Island, 3:35 Ascot.
Lovely. And Tom Nugent, what's yours?
Chittabello, 245 Wincanton.
Splendid. Okay, let's get the result of the competition. Each week, obviously, we'll give you the chance to win a free bet. And the winner this week is Lee from Hampshire. Well done to Lee. There'll be another chance to win a £25 or €25 free bet, courtesy of Paddy Power, in Monday's Postcast.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet then next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there, it's the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Bruce Millington, Graham Rodway, David Jennings and Paddy Powers. Tom Nugent looking ahead to a decent Sunday of action where, as always, the main card takes place in Ireland at David Jennings' local track of Navan. And the first race we're going to look at is the 220. It's the Ladbrokes Ireland Boyne Hurdle. Have we got any prices yet, Thomas?
Guessing Bapome will be over bet and probably a favourite come first show.
Okay, right. Well, David, you lead on. Will Bapome be over bet and flop, or will he win?
Absolutely shocking race. So disappointed. 4 runners. Maggio was a 13-year-old weighing 120, so there's actually 3 runners. Lieutenant Kernlan has been an absolute catastrophe. Absolutely no chance. That makes 2 runners. Diamond Courchois is only rated 143, £10 below Bapome, who's only given a £5. And by process of elimination, Bapome simply has to win and will probably be 1-3.
Do you concur, Tom?
No, I think Bapome is very ground dependent. Was touted as a juvenile as absolutely, like, the one thing he needed was good ground, and that was the excuse why he was bet by a mega fortune in Leopardstown one day. And I can't understand why he would have a chance in Navan on bad ground. And by the same process of elimination, I think Diamond Courchois is the winner.
Okay, let's see if the boys are a little more upbeat about the 4 o'clock. It's the 10-up novice chase, and the runners are Jury Duty, Moulin Avant, Say Jersey, Monbeg Notorious, and Moss Back. David Jennings, who's going to win?
Well, the funny thing here is, Bruce, I fancy a horse to win at the Cheltenham Festival in this race, but I'm not sure if he'll win this race, which is quite bizarre. I think Jury Duty will win the 4-miler at Cheltenham because Gordon Elliott has won it 3 times, I think, in the last 7 years. Won it last year with Tiger Roll. And I think Jury Duty is every inch a National Hunt Chase winner in the making. He's already rated 148 over fences. And that is more than good enough. I think the last 10 winners have been rated lower than that. And he was 147 rated hurdler as well. He was obviously beaten by Moulin Avant last time at Punchestown. But if you watch the race, he just stopped. He actually stopped. Mossback fell at the last. And Jury Duty just completely stopped. He idles when he hits the front. Jack Kennedy rode him over hurdles at Punchestown a couple of years ago, and he got a bollocking in the parade ring afterwards from Gordon Elliott for hitting the front too soon. So he can guarantee that Robbie Power will be at pains not to hit the front this time. But whether he can beat Monbeg Notorious on this type of ground, I'm not sure, especially given Monbeg Notorious £5. So officially, he's £7 worse off with Monbeg Notorious because he's given Monbeg Notorious £5, and Monbeg Notorious is rated £2 higher than him. So I think Monbeg Notorious might win this battle, but I think Jury Duty will win the war at Cheltenham.
When you're out to dinner with Aoife, what's the sort of general possession stats in terms of the conversation? Is it 90% you and then she just goes, yes, love, or how does it work there?
Oh, Aoife can talk. Oh.
She's a good listener, yeah? He's gone.
That was about 40 seconds. All that was.
Oh, was it? Okay, fair enough. Tom, who's going to win the 10 up?
I think Monbeg Notorious will outclass Jury Duty and Moulin Avant. He was very, very impressive in Goran for the Thyestes and gets weight here. I think he's a proper horse and I think he'll win this.
G-Rod, have you got a view on either of those Irish races, by the way?
I thought Monbeg Notorious would win easily. I mean, what was that all about in the Thyestes? I mean, I think he was 16-1 the day before, and they just absolutely hammered him like he couldn't lose. And then from about 5 fences in, I didn't think he could lose. You know, he was always in the right place, jumping well, and absolutely hacked up. It was like the biggest plot you've ever seen in your life. It's probably a graded horse and should be up to this.
Okay, jolly good. Right, what else have we got at Navan, DJ?
Not that much, Bruce, actually. You'd be delighted to hear. I might chance, and I'm sure Tom will be watching the opening maiden hurdle with plenty of interest, as the Holy One, who was second the Black Bow in his bumper on St. Stephen's Day at Leopardstown. He goes in the opening maiden hurdle. And I know he was beaten 26 lengths by Ballyward last time at Naas. But I think Ballyward has a sneaky chance at the Albert Bartlett. And I think the Holy One is better than he showed there. So maybe give the Holy One a chance in the 150. That's the opening maiden hurdle. And then later on in the card, Wings Like Arion is improved out of all recognition on his last two starts. He's chasing a hat-trick. It's raised 110 now, but I don't think the handicapper's caught up with him. And I think Wings Like Arion can complete the hat-trick at 255.
255. Tom, anything else for us at Navan?
Not a huge amount. I'm not sure how good the bumper is. That Semester horse will probably go off Fav for Willie and Patrick. He was second in the point-to-point behind Manila Encore, but one thing to point out, I've often made a few quid by taking on likely raced horses on really bad ground, and with that in mind, I think All for Joy is a viable alternative for Oliver McKiernan. He's been placed in a couple of decent bumpers, and I think he might, with Danny Hand claiming 7, I think he might go one better and win the bumper in Navan 5 o'clock on Sunday.
And the British action on Sunday takes place at Market Raisin and Foss Lass. G-Rod, have you had a chance to suss anything for us?
This is where I get a little bit more vague, because the horse I really fancied at Market Raisin doesn't run.
Right, okay.
Been declared, so that's
it's not so much vague as
that
completely bloody useless.
And then there's a horrible bad ground chase over at Foss Lass, going to be running like a bog over 3 miles, where they've got all the old favourites turning up, Firebird Flyer and Lac Sacre and all those that go well at Foss Lass. And I thought Big Meadow would run well in that one nicely on heavy ground that you Toxit last time. It's always been well thought of by Neil King, the trainer. But I'm not particularly strong on anything, as you can guess. If Master of Finance had turned up at Market Raisin, that would have been a good bet.
Okay, well, that's...
But he didn't, so...
Well, not much use to us. Never mind. Okay, jolly good. Now, on Tuesday, chaps, we've got our latest anti-post postcast. We're going to look at the Triumph hurdle. None of you lot are on the panel, so you each get a free go at it. Who's going to win the Triumph, G-Rod?
I'm going to be really boring. I really think the favourite will win.
I do as well. I don't understand the negativity about it.
I don't get it. And the great thing is, I think all this negativity, we might even get a much bigger price than she is at the moment. Every time she turns up, she wins nicely, head in chest. I know she's not beaten a hell of a lot, but I quite fancy Nube Negra for the Fred Winter. I think that's favourite for the Fred Winter now. And she beat that cosily enough a couple of starts ago. And what I like about her, as compared to most Triumph winners, they always stay really well. They always find loads and loads of pressure. And the one thing you can say about Apple Shakira is when Barry Geraghty really gets stuck into her, she finds.
Yeah, I mean, after that win the other day, there's loads of people on Twitter saying can't win at Cheltenham, can't win at Cheltenham, lay. I didn't get it at all. I thought it was a good performance.
And she's got the same profile as Defi Desoy, hasn't she? She won all those races at Cheltenham on the way up, and as long as it's not really fast ground, but it never is it?
I'm not even sure that's a problem for her. DJ, I bet you're one of these so-called pseudo-shrewdies who thinks that Apple Shakira can't win the Triumph, aren't you?
Well, you've got half of that sentence right, Bruce. I am a shrewdie, but I actually fancy Apple Shakira.
You do?
I think this is a carbon copy of Defi Desoy last year, where we got a super price on the day about Defi Desoy. Apple Shakira, the key thing about Apple Shakira is as well, that was great what happened last time, because she actually had to work, and we've seen that she's a brilliant attitude as well, so that was fantastic. But I'm actually delighted that Graham mentioned Nube Negra there, because I got my hair cut on Thursday, and the barber that was doing my hair was chatting away, and he goes, I have a winner for you for Cheltenham. And I go, and he thinks like I'm like the biggest celebrity nearly that comes into this barber's, and he thinks I know everything about race. And I go, what's it called? He said it's running the Fred Winter. And I go, oh, really? I said, the weights aren't even out there. What's it called? He goes, Negra, something, nude Negra. And I go, no, never heard of it. No, it must be something. So we spent the whole 20 minutes trying to figure out which this horse was. And it's obviously the one that Graham has just mentioned, nude Negra.
Yeah, there you go. Can you imagine being DJ's barber? You wouldn't have to sort of fish around for things to talk about, would you? Going on holiday this year? You just sit there and DJ be rabbiting away, wouldn't it? Be easiest 20 minutes of your life. Tom Nugent, who wins the Triumph?
Yeah, Apple Shakira looks very, very good. I'm trying to get a line on Stormy Ireland, why she didn't run in the Dublin Racing Festival, and like Willie was very vocal about her being his best juvenile. Mr. Adjudicator has come out and shown how good he is. I think she could be interesting. But Apple Shakira looks rock solid right now with what we have, the knowledge we have at hand, I should say. OK, do please join us on Tuesday for that, even though the four of us all agree that Apple Shakira will win. Patrick Mullins will be on that day, so that will be interesting to get his latest views. Weekend plans, G-Rod, what, you're off to Ascot?
Oh, I've had an absolute result on Saturday because the missus said to me, we've got a kid's birthday party, you know, if you want to come. And I obviously said, no thanks. You know, so I've basically got a free rein to do whatever I like all Saturday afternoon. I did mention to my brother about going down to Ascot, and he said, no, I'd much rather sit in the pub and watch it all afternoon. And I said, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. So that's my plan for Saturday, is we're going to sit in the pub and we're going to watch racing and football all afternoon.
Oh, how nice. No kids to have to hold or...
Hopefully we won't get too drunk and we'll make it through for that big fight in the evening as well between Eubank and Groves, because that should be an absolute cracker.
Who's going to win that?
Eubank for me.
Really? OK, jolly good. DJ, what are your plans on the weekend?
I think Aoife's got the whole weekend planned for going wedding dress shopping with her mother. So that leaves me free. I'm working tomorrow, so it'll be boring for me. So I'm letting her off to do the wedding dress shopping, and I'm a free bird. But yeah. I was going to say I was going to crack a joke there about my barber. You were saying that basically he wouldn't get a word in edgeways. I was going to say he's on the fringes of every conversation. But
oh God.
So what's the joke? I've got a pass as well, lads. We should all meet up together, because my missus is going up to see her family this weekend. So we're all off. We're all absolutely laughing. What about you, Tom? Have you got all sorts of chores to do this weekend?
I'm sadly in the office all weekend, so you can have a pint on my behalf, please, and think of me as I'm slaving away.
Oh, I hope that goes well, mate. Right, thank you very much, chaps. Well done. Good luck with your punting. Good luck to everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're back on Monday, looking back on the weekend and ahead to the following week. And like I say, on Tuesday, the boys will be going through the Triumph with a fine-tooth comb, so join us for them. And don't forget, if you do enjoy the postcasts, please do rate, review and subscribe on iTunes.
Success ain't earned, it's bought. That's why at Paddy Power, we paid the big bucks for the best tech nerds in the world to develop our new, fastest ever app. Download the new app from the App Store or Play Store now. 18+, begambleaware.org.